Hola, hola. Welcome to One Mic, One Globe Pride Night. I am your host, Voth, voice of the harbor. I have a beautiful lineup for you all. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you so much for being here, to the poets, to audience, to self. It's been a long day. It's been hot. But we're all here to celebrate Pride, to authenticate ourselves a little bit more, to give deeper into mm, into self, into story, into truth. I'm sorry. um, I'm super excited. I call open mics like going to church. Um, you get all the emotion out, or you hear that story or that poem that you needed to hear, or you have fun. So like I'm going to church. um, what's it called? I'm going to open with a poem. This poem is about pride. Um, just get it set up. Computer is going against me today. I think it's that heat. The heat is just, he sometimes works against technical things and electronics heat up. This poem is titled hashtag Stand Against Hate. Lesbian, gay, bi, trans, queer, plus, and other parts of the world is punishable by prison and even worse, by death. In this country, we are fighting for our rights daily. Florida and Texas banned our books. We're never going to stop writing. Florida banned the words that define us. We're never going to be silenced. We are the right of hope and truth. We will always be seen and heard. We will always raise our voices. You can take away our health care. You can discriminate against us. You can try to defeat us, but you will never win. We will always embrace our pride. Thank you. All right, let us dive into further. Oh, and this is also an open mic. Open mic will begin later on after the features have gone up. But if anyone wants to sign up for that open mic, please DM me. I have to find, give me your bios. Usually I have all these things set up. Trying to balance that poetry work life still. Have not done it. um, Alrighty. Our first poet of the night is TK. A poet and actress originally from the Midwest, draws from her diverse experiences and identities to amplify marginalized voices, particularly within women, queer, and Black communities, while weaving the sacred and the secular to provoke introspection and foster representation through her poetry. Oh, I love that. Alongside her poetic journey, she finds joy in her family, running, fishing, and acting, leveraging her theater degree to explore the connection between art, identity, and self expression in her work. Please give a warm welcome to TK. Go, poet. The mic is yours. You have 15 minutes. The space is yours.
Okay. My name is TK. And I think I'm gonna get started with my favorite poem. So I just finished my book. It's called Sacred Journey, Secular Sojourns. It's a journey of love in its many forms, and it will be available on sale in about 6 months. So I'll also put on here my socials in the chat. My first poem is titled Communion. Communion. Yesterday, you asked me, what are my intentions with you? 2 months ago, I knew you as the woman whose name had climbed into my limbs and made them its home, the woman who exists so soft and so loud, cozied in my thoughts. When I approached you to introduce myself, our eyes met, and the coordination fled from my figure. Clumsy, crowded, my tongue clenched my jaw, strangled my vocal cords, my mouth morphed gay, no longer able to even speak straight. Stuttering, insinuating speech, then you spoke. I managed to respond. Hi, my name is TK. Yesterday, you asked me what are my intentions with you. Well, for starters, I intend to stop gawking and gabbling long enough to ask you on a date that will never happen. A month ago, my exalting of you did not stop when your lips revealed themselves as tectonic plates as the words, I have a partner, sent seismic waves up my bones and through my chest, this chest of mine in which you live. The fault lines were non existent, unable to predict the shift occurring in this chest of mine in which you live, anointing the sod, holding infinite, intimate possibilities of us high as the night that you asked to kiss me. And we flirted, and we flirted, and we flirted until mosquito hours, full of desire, full of need, that night that turned into morning, that night when you place mountains that are too large to climb in places where flowers should grow, inhibiting the honey I'd have to offer, that night that turned into morning, full of dying we longed tos and we couldn't. I know that my longing for you is futile, yet my stubborn hands, the myrrh, the need to excavate your bones, arms left limp, efforts to shovel your name out of these limbs. You are still here, not going anywhere, existing in the pauses of my wind, the cracks of my landscape, planting your soft and loud whispers in my garden. Yesterday, you asked me what are my intentions with you. 2 weeks ago, the Duce must have Houdini'd your shame because I want yous began to dance from your throat and land on my cheek, gravitating you so close that my lungs filled with your pheromones and our hearts began to pray together, proselytizing our morals to partake in communion. Yesterday, you asked me what are my intentions with you. You so soft and so loud, me, your terrain. Next week, when we congregate, I will not be as prudent. I will know you as the woman who caused earthquakes in my being, whose hands fingered through my roots in search of salvation, whose lips sang hymns of I lust yous, to which I will reply, since we here, we might as well have church. Thank you. Oh, y'all are so cute in the comments. I figured since I'm gonna have a sip of wine, since we're grown and it's fitting for poetry. That poem was titled Communion. I have a shorter one here, and it's called At First Sight. It was last year on a Tuesday when the wild lilacs embarked on the journey of bowing at the soil that stretches, to lifting their eyes in adoration towards God, rendering reverence for early April bloomings. Like the lilac, my roots settled into your soil, and my prayers have been wrapped in you ever since. Okay. So I have a poem called Emancipated that I just posted on my page for Juneteenth, but it's everyone's favorite. So I think I'm gonna read that one next. Okay. This is titled Emancipated. Security is tapping on the door. Her hands, my thighs, corn silk yellow fluorescence flickering, mirrors opaque from the steam we are brewing, tightly enclosed within flint gray walls, clothed and carvings of numbers promising a good time, scents of cheap perfume and less linger. I am here, bathing in her bourbon butterscotch kisses, tonguing her soliloquies in the mazes of me, something wise about the story she's telling, something church about it. Security is knocking on the door. This stall is occupied. Damn. Verboten actions are taking place in the first floor women's restroom on Juneteenth. Abstinence was my allegiance just a few moments ago, a soldier, an obligation to his word, to this temple. But isn't it my duty to liberate this black body presented in front of me? I mean, on this day of all days, shouldn't I embrace a black woman, hold her so tight that her ancestors feel it, so that her mama finally gets the affection and recognition she deserves? Let me bleed for this black woman. Let me bleed how Christ did on that cross. Crucify me so that I may be loved, so that I may be worshiped for once on this day, the 19th of June. Let my flesh be emancipated, and I bear the consequences when the scrub jay sings. Security is banging on the door, and I choose to ignore. I'm trying to be her dinner until I become her breakfast. Seep my syrup sticky into her palm. She is stirring into me like hot bisque in my blood. Bouillon bones, my syllables boiling up her throat. Her gums fill with my name. I pervade her. Somewhere tucked in a corner, there is a God shaking his head in shame. Security is shaking the door. Candied promises murmured in my ear are no more. Drunken hands reluctantly accept the tedious task of twisting my shirt back to its proper state. One nipple ring lost, another jealous of how it was misplaced. I open the door and irony slaps us both in the face. A man, bereft of seasoning, stands before us. We brazenly walk past with shackled hands, segregated lips, and unsatisfied bellies. We are not free here. Oh, thanks. Y'all are cute in the comments. Um, so my book is this, it takes you on this journey of limerence to, and for those who don't know what limerence is, it's basically like this very intense feeling of love, but it's like obsessive. And usually if an obsession is present, it's because that love isn't available to you in some way. So it's not always the healthiest form of love. And then we transition into the letting go and journeying to love. And I'm going to read this poem that starts the letting go chapter. It's a haiku and it's titled For the Possibility of Love. Don't be a damn fool. You are desired only when you yearn worship. All right. I also have a new poem. If anyone wants to hear that, it's unedited, it's not in the book, but it's also very queer. And I feel like this is an intimate space, so I feel safe to share some new things here. Okay. It's titled House. When I was 10, I remember playing house. I remember 1,000 onyx strands shiny and swinging at the waist of the neighbor's niece. I remember leaning in to kiss her. I am mom, and she is mom, and we hold hands and eat ice cream for lunch and drink red Kool-Aid from Hello Kitty mugs. I remember the scold screaming from my brother's eyes as he softly read the Google search, two girls kissing. I pretend to like boys for 12 years after that day. It is late afternoon in spring. Against velvet of an emerald couch, my back softens. I daydream of us as I cut the ends of knotless braids, careful not to trim the hair beneath. Long pattern plaited ropes that you found pleasure in tugging nights before now lie in a plastic bag to the left of me. The television slowly fades to mute. A brush of whispers caress my ear, professing me beautiful, declaring me baby. I can feel again your hands reaching for my breast, pressing firmly at my heart. I pretend that I am yours. I pretend that you love me. It is well after sunset. I crawl into bonnet, sinking into bed when I think of you. My sheets turn stage, your memory a songstress as your scent sings stories of our time together. You see, you left days ago, but you forgot your daydreams at my doorstep, your fingerprints smudged on my heart, your singing scent humming between my sheets. When I was 24, I had a crush on a woman. I remember leaning in to kiss her. I pretend I am mom and she is mom, and she is unafraid to love me before sunset. And we hold hand at red carpet events and stain champagne glasses with red lipstick. I pretend she holds me and means it. I pretend that I am 10 again and no longer have to play make believe to be loved. Thank you. Um, since this is a queer event, I have a poly poem. And it's called Cutting Teeth, which also means teething, but it's called Cutting Teeth. This feels like teething all over again. The newness, the growing pains, the sweet reward, thrusting through thick gums like milk is going out of style, like applesauce and Similac just don't feed me the same. Coral pink and pigmented purple accompanied by blood besmeared. Self-soothing is a Bennyson, but you too are a boon. Lips like mom's shushing prayers, arms rocking me so warm that my fever flees in search of frost, tongues like ice soothing the growing pains, patient eyes enthralled as crooked teeth emerge. I am learning to chew all over again. Swollen tenderness ripping through ripe peaches, dad's freshly caught bluegills, and soul food on a Sunday. Both of your names salivate in my mouth, soft and easy to swallow. Careful not to cavity my gums. I am prepared to share this meal with you. You are both tongue and cheek, I am jaw. repeatedly occluding and opening, allowing us to nourish one another. I am learning to love all over again, flossing out the spoiled debris, welcoming affirming flavors to melt on my tongue, savoring your dauntless laughs as they dance across papillae, nervously dipping the tip of tongue in forbidden fruit, savoring the consumption of unfamiliar things. The trinity of us indulge in cravings once feared. Is it safe here? Safe like hot soup without being seared, like pistachio gelato absent from that sharp bite of sensitivity. I am finally ready to chew. I am ready to love all over again, but this time I want to try it with the both of you. Okay. Thank you. How much time do I have left?
If you want to read one more poem, it has to be a short one.
Gotcha. All right.
Absolutely beautiful, by the way. Like your lines are, I just want to say real quick, your lines are absolutely delicious. Oh my God.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you. I'll end with this short poem from the Book of Romance, which is a chapter in my book, and it is titled Springtime Bulbs. Just as the sun hugs March daffodils, how they rise in reciprocal reach, you and I were drawn together out of a need for loving. Thank you.
That was very short. Thank you, everyone. That was TK. TK, how you thank you so much for being a part of One Mic, One Globe. I am speechless. That is rare. Happens once in a while. But no, thank you so much for being a part of this night. Your poetry is just, geez, I'm hot.
Thank you for having me.
um, if how can we connect with you? How can we keep in contact? Sorry, I can't even talk. Um, but yes, read the comments, read the chat. You have a lot of love coming through.
I'm going to put all of my information in the chat here. Thank you, everyone.
Beautiful. Everyone, that was TK. Follow her. Where are you gonna be performing next? I think you're on mute.
I'm performing at Souls of Africa in October, but I do plan on booking a few more shows in between time, and I'll just post everything on my Instagram.
Oh yeah, that is awesome. All right, everyone, that was TK. I'm gonna see you live. Um, next, I'm gonna read a poem and then I'll switch off to the next feature. Oh, and as I continue forward, One Mic, One Globe, it gets very when did I say this? Vulnerable. It gets very vulnerable. If you hear a piece, if for a moment that you need to step away, please step away. Mental health is important. If you get triggered, anything, just say the word, you step away, come back when you're ready. Features, please let me know when you do that. I'm holding space for everyone. Okay. This poem is titled When I Was One. Oh, I'm sorry. When I was younger, I didn't want to live. So disclaimers. When I was younger, I didn't want to live. I was constantly bullied at school for a word I had not fully understood, but people made it aware that they didn't like me. This word defined me daily. This word had me pushed against lockers and stone walls. This word had me chased. This word gave ammunition to hatred who threw rocks. This word was a word I hated so much, yet every day I got up because I hoped and I dreamt of a day everything would be better. This word holds horrible memories, but it also holds the most beautiful ones too. This word is the drumbeat of my heart. This word is the radiant beacon of hope. This word holds value and truth. When I was younger, I didn't want to live. But as I grew up, I accepted myself for being gay. By being my absolute truth, brought out the very best in me. Thank you. The next feature I'm going to bring up to the mic. Um, is Guido Mendoza. If I said your name wrong, I am so sorry. Please correct me.
Yeah, Guido Mendoza works. Thank you.
Beautiful.
Can
Guido
you hear me?
Mendoza is a Salvadorian Mexican queer writer, producer, grant writer, composer, music supervisor, jewelry designer, radio show host, and contributor to La Banda Elástica. Ooh, when do you sleep? That's amazing, though. That's great. His love for writing began with his biggest passion, music. Embedded within the lyrics he grew up with, he found poetic and creative inspiration from classic boleros to Juan Gabriel to Caifanes to Jim Morrison. I feel like I said that wrong. Across mediums, Guido creatively explores his split roots, gender duality, biculturalism, oddities, and curious connections of the perplexing yet fascinating human experience. Please give a warm welcome to, and all the way from El Salvador, Guido Mendoza. The poet.
Thank you. I'm gonna start with this is a piece I wrote in. It's just called My Name is Guido, based off of David Romero, who's another poet who I took a workshop with, and he did a workshop, so this came from a workshop. And it's the one I use as an introduction. My name is Guido. Well, technically it isn't, but that's the moniker I was christened with. My real name is one that my mom gave me from some random white kid she used to take care of. She used to joke that I was named after one of the Chips actors, but FTP. In high school, there were too many Erics, so everyone had to use their full names. One day, an Italian descent friend said I looked like a Guido, and that's how I was christened. Yes, I know Guido at one point was a slur that was used by others towards Italians. They don't use it that way. The nickname stuck like pasta to a wall when it's ready to eat. Who knew what started as a class nickname would become a lifelong pseudonym? Most people don't even know my real name. I've even gotten paid to write as a Guido. It wasn't until I dropped the L to be less gendered and inclusive of my duality, a duality that isn't just me being part horse, part human, aka a Sagittarius, a duality that isn't just me being feminine and masculine residing in this human vessel, a duality that goes beyond my Salvadoran and Mexican roots, a duality that splits like East LA is split by Lorena Boulevard from Boyle Heights, a duality that is soul and matter and star matter. But why does it even matter what I call myself anyway? I am me, and that is all that you need to know. Me, the one that isn't you, the one that can't be categorized, boxed, or caged by what you want to call me. I am Guido by choice, Eric by my mom's choice. But again, I am me, and as I jokingly say, Eric earns the money and Guido spends it. And together we are me, a yin yang of pupusas and tacos, a mixture of identities like colonizer and colonized. An experience that is named but cannot be defined. I am Guido. Who are you? Next, I'm gonna so In the writing, I like to write a lot about also coming to terms with my own queer identity. So this one I call the code switch. As queer people, we learn to code switch, turning off queerness with a light switch, hiding parts of ourselves for our safety, so we don't accidentally trigger your frailty. Imagine what life could be if we could just shine, no need to pretend or hide our inner divine. Not saying we all do it, as some own our strut, swaying hips, smacking patriarchy in the gut. Your masculinity is threatened by our divinity, the Holy Ghost, a metaphor for hidden femininity. Sis, your male dominance is a gendered fear, for gender is a construct built by you, my dear, throwing sticks and stones at our mere existence, forgetting that we've thrown bricks in resistance. Pride has turned into a parody of its true intention, commercialization disguised as queer liberation. We went from fighting against these dirty ass pigs to inviting them to our celebrations and taking pics. Let's not forget that we will never truly be liberated while looking away as Palestinians are obliterated. And then I call this celestial queer love. I also love to write about I kind of look like a brujo, so the stars and stuff like that. Earth puts on eyeshadow at dusk for her rendezvous with the moon. She adorns with stars as jewelry. The moon smiles, illuminates us. She's been waiting for her all day. The earth is trembling in nerves. Despite their deep love of centuries, she still blushes at dusk as she rises. Their dance floor is the expansive sky. The planets drum their favorite tunes. They both sway together in unison. A dance that we all bear witness to. Cheek to cheek, they dance all night. We sleep as the lovers swoon above. While the sun sleeps, they love boldly. If you listen closely at the witching hour, you can hear their heartbeats in the air. As the sun rises, they each go their ways, aware in a few hours they get to be free. The greatest queer love story I've seen is in plain sight from dusk to dawn. They're not hiding their proclamation. They're not hiding their proclamation. They know the patriarchy isn't ready for it. The taboo makes it even more spontaneous, like a combustion of celestial beings. That's why our sunsets are so gorgeous. It's the stirring love that we are in awe of. This one I call spanning roots. My roots span across universes like webs stretch to distant places I yearn for. From a tiny war-torn country named after a savior where the dollar and crypto praise, to a vibrant land where the Inquisition replaced indigeneity and whitewashed deities, donde el mango jugoso se come como el árbol y las ruinas no solo son sitios ancestrales. Algunas venas de mi alma son de un imperio construido sobre agua donde la ira reina. My roots are as plump as tamales, covered in plantain leaves that warmly embrace me. Parts of me are fragmented by borders created by nationalism, patriotism, and racism. In the jagged cracks of these divisions, light pours in from within to create my own prism. I don't abide to any flag or any form of isms. My true radiance cannot be contained. When I'm gone, these roots will keep growing and still be built on, like the Sagrada Familia. Some roots spring from a country that stole gold and silver to create effigies and altars. Part of my roots wind down to mines where these treasures were greedily extracted from. Portions of my roots choke me with memories of atrocities committed in the name of God. Mis raíces vienen de varios dioses y diosas que existían antes de tus creencias y alabanzas. Mis venas son recordatorios que un río corre dentro de ellas que proviene de lindas tierras. My veins were extracted from earth to give life force and rhythm to the opus I'm conducting. The drum within skips a beat, yet I recognize its song from those whose legacy I built on. My winding, unbreakable roots are no longer in the quagmire I was born in. I'm replanted. My roots ground me in the now by reminding me that the trees I come from stood against it all. Mis raíces son caminos de mi propio destino, en el cual yo escribo con esta tinta color de vino. I don't know. I'm gonna read this one. I just call it because. Because you fear our gay agenda, we have to abide to yours. Because you sexualize our identity, we have to be this less than. Because you understand, we need, because you don't understand, we need to understand you. Because you hide behind your psalms, we then face your palms. Because you believe in fairy tales, we have to change our ways. Because you condone abuse from priests, we are the sinners. Because you want to have a choice, we have to give up ours. Because you pray to a loving God, you then hate us. Because you think you're self-righteous, we have to be wrong. Because you hate we're free, you have to find ways to cage. Because you fuel my fire, I'll keep being me with all my rage. Because we're done catering to your lies, praise, and old ways. Because we're destined to shed light even in the darkest days. I don't know how much longer I have.
Awesome.
I'd say 2 more minutes.
Okay. I'm gonna do something. I'll do yeah, I'll do this as short. I wrote it a while back. I think during the pandemic while Pride was happening as well. Call it and no one was laughing. Pride was a riot and no one was laughing. Let me say that again. Pride was a riot and no one was laughing. Marsha P. Johnson presente. Silvia Romero presente. A brick paved our liberation with a righteous indignation. But now look at corporations funding anti-gay legislations. We clamor for representation, endorsing our own exploitation. And white queers fighting for equality, I see through your triviality. You and I are not on the same ship. I'm under and done taking your shit. You don't really want to be free. You thrive off of white supremacy. You're not fighting for our trans brethren. You want freedom for you and your friends. And the white queers who shed crocodile tears, you don't use your privilege for all queers. You prance your way into my neighborhood, sipping lattes where my laundromat once stood. Your higher classes don't fight. Your higher class don't fight for the same thing. I want freedom. You want a fucking wedding ring. You'll never stand side to side with us because you are them and you are sus. Don we all are gay apparel and the glitter you want. We are not from the same light source at all. My inner light comes from my shadow work. You steal our spotlight, leaving us in the dark. You center queerness around you like a martyr, yet you're eager to call the damn police on others. Your comfort rainbow Google goggles don't allow you to see you're a leech on the system. We want to break free. Yes, Queen Slay, work, sachet, and all that good stuff. But for fuck's sake, we need to know that we've had enough. Pride is a riot, and no one was laughing. Let me say that again. Pride was a riot, and no one was laughing. And that's it. Thank you.
Yes, King. Oh my God. The social justice in those pieces. Oh, es muy firme. Muy firme. Thank you so much, Guido, for being a part of One Mic, One Globe. That was absolutely beautiful. How can we stay connected to you? How can we get into contact with you? Share all the good stuff.
I'm on Instagram. Right now I'm in El Salvador actually, which is where I'm at currently, which is the first time reading not in the States, so it's kind of trippy, but awesome.
That's
And
awesome.
there's a lot of really good things that will come from here. So Yeah, but thank you so much for the space, and yeah, keep in touch. I mean, right now I'm not doing anything other than hanging out with family, so enjoying that.
Family is beautiful. Yes, that is amazing. Thank you so much again, Guido, for being a part of One Mic, One Globe Pride Night. And all the way from El Salvador. Uy, that's amazing. Um, geez, yeah. Moving on to the next feature. Before I do so, I'm gonna share one. I like to share in between. Um, this one's a little, for me, it's a little tasty. This is called Horny. Horny and hungry for sweet, euphoric, deliciously. The kind that vibrates his warmth running against my naked skin. The kind who is confident, eyes glowing, staring hungrily, craving an exquisite, juicy bite. Fuck. The kind of guy who will buy me flowers, not even on a date, because the little things matter too. The kind of guy who will ignite the spark deprived of interpersonal romance. I long for a man who has set goal intentions. I want to get married, dressed in red. I want to have children and pets. I want to grow old together playing cards and Scrabble. I am horny for love. Thank you. The next poet I'm going to bring to the mic, Vasti Carrion. Vasti Carrion is from San Fernando Valley in the Los Angeles County. They started writing as a child and first got published at 17 in Right Girl anthologies. She's written for Latinitas magazine during her college days while being a part of a women's group called Words of Women. She supports women's rights as equal to men. She recently got published in Contemporary Joe magazine and other publications. Please give a warm welcome to Vasti Carrion. Go poet.
Woo!
Vasti. Um, Vasti, you there? Um, Give her a few more minutes. No, you're Vasti, you're on mute. Are you okay, Vasti? See a finger. Um, okay, Vasti, I'm gonna move on to the next person. Just let me know when you're good to go. Is Sol Kari here? Oh, Vasti, are you on again? You're unmuted.
It shows unmuted, but I can't hear anything.
I show unmuted too. I see unmuted. Vasti, you're unmuted now, but we can't hear you. Basti, are your headphones connected to your Bluetooth? Oh, here we go. Yes, we can hear you.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Hi, Basti. How's it going? Oh, you look beautiful. Hola.
Hi, my name is Basti Carrion, and I am the writer of a book called Feminine to Female Gender Poems. You can find it online by Google searching Basti Carrion and the book title Feminine to Female Gender Poems. The poem that I will be sharing today is not from the book. I wrote it 3 years ago. It's called Lucky Charm Gender. Woman is a man is just a man. Word, noun, defined from dictionary, a unit of language consisting of one or more spoken sounds or their written representation that functions as a principal carrier of meaning, sensitivity, oh my. My second poem that I will be sharing will be it's called Frida Kahlo and the Cornhusk Tamales. This poem, I wrote it as a dedication of where I was born and raised, Los Angeles. I think it captures the tone and the type of environment that the Latino culture has had in Los Angeles. I think you can paint a tamal, the colors of Frida's paintings. I think you can be bright red, as the bleeding blood of the thorns in her heart that paints. I think you can paint a tamal, the color of Frida's paintings, with the word mal. Her illness slipping red as her paintings drops atoms of cadmium red paint teardrops for Frida Kahlo. I think you can paint a tamal, the color of Frida's paintings, with food coloring from El Superior in Pacoima, California. I think you can paint a tamal, the color of Frida Kahlo's paintings in the Los Angeles, and where you can find yourself in murals as your English accent meaning Los Angeles. But hearing Los Angeles, like you are lost in a bright culture of magic realism paintings that flip your mind upside down as coffee pour while eating tamales. My third poem that I will be reading this evening is called American War Tears. Are they brewing? War. Why be against it? A lot of people die. Cannot comprehend the promotion. A personal situation turned political. Sad. Make homes, not wars. Homes, a soliloquy. Cannot stop a war. I am not a weapon of war. Are you a weapon of war? I couldn't be. You are. 100% humane. Weapons have no feelings. They are inanimate. I'm the poet who stands aside. That's how it's always been for poets. The probability of a war crawling, you can't believe when it's crawling against all irrationality. And that's not even Bonaparte or Hitler could convince you to participation and brewing the potion for a war. Things I thought I could only imagine a developing country saying with haters, G's, new laws not set in stone. Hey, have you voted? Unemployment means getting people trained in command obeying. A society without a brain. Hey, they need money. Is that why shops are closing? Moral. Not at the caliber of a country, the United States not so united in America. War, a history book figment I could imagine but not see. Yet here, with embalming sounds in my neighboring hoods without many. In command, obeying. A society without a brain. Hey, they need money. Give me a second. The history book figment I could imagine but not see, yet hear with embalming sounds in my neighboring hood. Without many hoods, I can hear the bald eagle neath the wind. Poppy. The second piece is from my journal writing. I've been writing for over 10 years. Tiny Moon Journals by Bhakti Carrion. Conversations with the universe, the stars, deeply intrigued, descend from the night sky, skeptically asking the dam with the pen. And where do you place this thing called writing? Oh, she flustered, gazing at the starshine. I write in tiny moon journals with the moon as my friend and its light as my lamp. And the stars he sent home, while the dam with the pen was left with a smile deeper than the moon's crescent face, for she was amused at starlighting questioning. My third piece that I will be reading tonight is called Give me a second. My third piece is called Kitten Mittens. There once was a time in where the snow froze your bones, and grannies and daughters knitted bows that the blizzard of snow, who quite well knows, blew a frost into the cabin of the ladies who know, with their yarn hearing over the twinkling snowflakes, floating a magic winter spell that spelled magic as MAGIC as they knitted mittens, which held a kitten mitten who warms the winter snow with bleeding hearts. Thank you, that's all.
Thank you so much, Vasti,
That's
for
all.
being
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Vasti. Thank you for being a part of One Mic, One Globe. I see you're at a mall. That's interesting. How can we stay in touch with you? How can we stay connected? Put in the chat. Okay. Okay. Alrighty then. We'll move on. Everyone, that was Vasti. Okay. Vasti, can you mute, please? Thank you. Okay. Is moving on to the next feature of the night. Again, or before we do that, sorry. If anyone wants to sign up for One Mic, One Globe, open mic, please DM me. Is Sol Kari here? Sol? Going once, twice. Okay. Angelina? What's it called? Actually really excited. I'm excited. I think you're my first poet laureate on the show. Where did she send me? Sorry, give me one moment. I have your guys' features kind of everywhere. There we go. Angelina Llanos. Llanos? Is a Ventura County Youth Poet Laureate Emeritus and a first-year MFA student at Fresno State. Angelina regularly serves as a poetry out loud coach and a poet teacher, mentoring youth in poetry recitation and creative writing. Additionally, Angelina is a member of California Poets in the school's board of directors and was a reader for the 2023 Philip Levine Prize. Her work, I'm sorry, has been published by Urban Word, Flower Song Press, the Chicanx Writers and Artists Association, Arcana, and the Fruit Slice. Please give a warm welcome to Angelina Llanos. Woo! Go poet.
Hello. You also said my name perfectly, so yeah, thank you. It gets butchered a lot. But yeah, so I'm excited to read and I'm gonna try to keep track of time. But this first poem was recently published in the Fruit Slice third issue, which is an all queer writers literary magazine. So it's inspired by a Chicano epic poem called Yo Soy Joaquin, and this is my version that's titled Yo Soy Juana Inez. And Juana Inez is recently being sort of researched or discovered as a lesbian during her time. She was a nun and had this sort of secret romance that is kind of being inquired on. But yeah, so this is Yo Soy Juana Inez. Yo soy Juana Inez, perdida en un mundo de reglas. I am Juana Inez, lost in a world of rules, caught up in the whirl of heterosexual society, raised to conform, made to perform, stripped of sexual freedom, and said to serve the saints I inherited. All my sisters lost the choice of love like war, and won crowns of chastity, but now I must choose between the paradox of immortality of the soul, despite my heart's hunger, or to exist in the grasp of the Spanish patriarchy, silently crying for woman's touch and earning praise from the mouths of men. I've come a long way to be heard for my intelligence, but I have a long way to continue to be seen for my identity, for my heart's ever-changing dimensions and refusal to be chained by man. I am both saint and sinner, though devotees will debate the former, and history will erase the latter, because a woman like me is only allowed to love another woman platonically, because a woman like me is only allowed to be wise with her mind and not her words, if it pleases His Majesty. But do not be deceived. I will use mine to prove education is not just for a man. Intelligence is not just for a man. I am Juana Inez. The patriarchy may be strong, but my heart is stronger, my mind unbreakable. I am the Virgin Mary and the goddess Coatlicue, the tamed mother and the fierce woman king. History can say all it wants about me, but my words and my love can never be erased. I will live forever in my poetry, and so will she. So, so my second poem is was inspired by this quote that says, "They tried to bury us, but they didn't know that we were seeds." And so with that in mind, I wanted to write about queer identity and that sort of persistence. They tried to bury us. The girl I want to marry tells me she's not enough to protect me from a world that only tolerates us for a month before tossing us aside like tongues born and buried in the same day. They say there's no room for bodies like you. But I am a river of words, unafraid to cross borders. I will not let my legacy be buried here before my story's been written. My lover and I can be the gardeners of this earth that tries to wash away our voices like stains. We will plant sonnets in the soil, scatter elegies in the sea, and bloom bodies where there are tombs. At least we of all people know, power by her figure, even when she is absent. So this next poem I'm going to share is one that I recently wrote, and just trying to kind of explore and express different parts of my identity, not just queerness. So this is called Out. 1. I feel the cleaving, the leaving, the eviction and affliction of my mother's body as I am born, and she cries, but I don't. And I wonder why. Mama, Did you weep because I am your daughter or because I don't look the part? My genes must have tangled, must have forgotten that whiteness is written in our family history like a brand, a scar I didn't choose. Unless I wanted to be another page written upon, or torn apart. 2. I hear the exhale of my father, and he knows that the lightness of my skin will save me from dirty looks, pity passes, and ESL classes. Pero mi apellido, my last name, is a border many Americans won't know how to cross. It's a prayer many tongues will never know how to carry, and that is the burden that my skin will never save me from. 3. I watch fog bloom on my mother's face. My father is too stoic, and what did I say? I'm gay, or bi, or something that's not straight. No one prepared me to be the first gay person in my family to exist, to come out. No one taught me how to handle the silence with grace. I watch my mother cry and wonder if it's pride or pain. I hear my father exhale and wonder if it's relief or grief, and in this moment, I wonder if I'm born again, or I've been assigned my grave, sentenced to all those dirty looks, those pity passes, maybe even psychology classes. I wonder, can my skin save me from this, or will it abandon me too? So one thing I've been thinking about lately, especially starting an MFA program, is my ancestry. And I wanted to read 1 or 2 poems that I've written with that in mind. So this first one is called Incantation 1 and dedicated to my great-grandfather who passed away about 11 years ago. Incantation 1. Bridge my mouth to your death land. Let this rio de poesía spell your return home. I await you in my dreams and paint the sky with swallows of grief. Nadie podría escapar since you were embraced by the earth. Regresa a casa conmigo, bisabuelo. Teach me the dimensions of your tomb and mark my letters with your blood. Show this witch starving for your vision that la muerte is but one body away. And this second ancestry poem is still in the works, but I like how it sounds at the moment. So this is called Song of Repasting, and sort of for context, repast is also the word for a meal that is typically eaten during or around a funeral. So Song of Repasting. I'm hungry to know my ancestors, and my meal will be mi herencia de fechas y fotos. Do this in memory of, who was it again? My tongue is still learning to cross borderlands. Mama Angelita, bisabuelo Valentín, ¿a dónde volaron cuando murieron? If I drink your blood, can I find you? Dame su bendición and I'll prepare the honey. Come November, I need your histories. Y si encuentro su oscuridad en lugar de luces, no necesitan dar explicaciones. If your histories are filled with sins, all I ask is for your forgiveness for my ignorance. So I think I'll share one last poem, and I'm trying to find the perfect one. So many of my poems trying to uncover and then express my queerness really happened during the pandemic, when you could just, there was nothing to do but be alone with your thoughts. And so this last one is called Fluent. I may be an English major, but I want to be fluent in your desire. Teach me your love language, and for my capstone, I will weave every word into a river of poetry in your name. I'll even take a semester to study abroad in your world. Tell me, is it okay if I spend time with you? I'd like to learn about your heart from the source. Do you pronounce love with a goodnight kiss or breakfast in bed? In your head, is it spilled with your name on a ring or with stars in the sky? You should know the heavens couldn't hold a candle to your eyes. I bet I could even map every iris constellation if only you didn't mind sharing space with me. Do forgive me if my studies are daunting. I simply have a habit of admiring beautiful things. So trust me, because this feeling is here to stay. My heart will search for yours in this life and the next. So won't you show me all the best ways to love you now? That way, when the time comes, I'll prove I'm worthy of the test. And even when English fails me, I can translate every word just the way you would love. Thank you.
Ooh, go poet. Oh my God. Poet laureate. That is freaking awesome. That is so dope. And everything that you're doing, like, wow. Oh, that's awesome. How can we stay in contact with you? How can we get a hand on some books?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
sorry, I'll just say really quickly. I am working on a book for my thesis, so that'll be much in the future. But I'll drop my Instagram in the chat, and also I don't know if anyone's in Ventura County or even LA doesn't mind driving down. Oxnard Pride is this Saturday, and I'll be reading some poetry there. And of course, we'll have a whole lineup of performers. So just wanted to plug that really quick.
She promoting. That's awesome. That was Angelina Leanos. Everyone, thank you so much for being a part of One Mic, One Globe. Before I introduce our last feature of the night, again, open mic list is there. Got 2 sign-ups so far. Oh, it's been a good night. Um, do do do. Mm. I always get like, we're going towards the end. And it's like, oh, but it's also, it's a Thursday, like the Friday Eve. Um, do, 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 do. Okay, sol. Aquí estamos, sol. Okay. Sol, Kari is, oh, please correct me if I say your name wrong, please.
Oh no,
Sol
it's
Kari,
good.
okay, perfect. I was so terrified. Is a migrant transdisciplinary artist, facilitator, and cultural strategist. Sorry. Their scope of work includes zine making for liberation, poetry and spoken word, and systems transformation. Oh. Soul is passionate about co-creating environments for people to flourish and grow in community. Soul is especially interested in designing systems that center the embodied liberation of system-impacted transgender, expansive, and intersex young people of the global majority. Oh, that sounds so beautiful. In their spare time, Soul enjoys listening to audiobooks, making paper-based art, and caring for their cat, Tubby. Oh, that's so cute. Please give a warm welcome to Sol Kari. Go poet.
Thank you so much for having me. And I hope everyone's night is going well so far. So, the first one that I wanted to share, I'm pulling it up right now. It's called, sorry. The river is swelling with the grief of a dying planet, and it's my latest poem. And it's inspired by the LA River, but also just all rivers in general. The torrent of tears comes crashing down on us, and the river catches it all, reminding us that our grief is life-giving, showing us the product of release. Little birds flock down to the river, landing on an island of displaced dirt. They are home once more, precariously settled until the next storm. I walk down to the river where I bring my tears to unite into the collective flow of water, sometimes a tiny stream, lately overwhelmed with life force. They say that when grief fills your body, we become stagnant, can no longer move at the speed of destruction, the speed of capitalism. We are made up of 2/3 of water. So what happens to our bodies when the water all around us is grieving? When the planet slowly bleeds out and piles of bodies fill the land between the river and the sea? Does the river talk to the water in our veins, urging us to stop going against the flow of life, to move instead towards the river and return to the connection we lost? All rivers are connected, from the ones across the planet down to the veins in my heart. The river in my body overflows with the tears I could never release. I wonder if I too have little birds flocking to the sacred waters to create new life in this dying planet of mine. Thank you. That was the first one. I hope y'all enjoyed it. This next one, um, is kind of related to my where I used to work at. Well, I'm technically on medical leave. You'll hear why. Um, yeah. So this one's called Ladies. The ladies have sisterhood. The ladies have power and grace. The ladies have community. Oh, how long will I wait? In siblinghood, enveloped in a community of friends, tapestry of colors and shapes, genders across all species. Why does this feel like wishful thinking? Ladies, we can have both. Sisters and siblings can unite, each seen and respected, because we're the ones that made it, so far at least. Sorry, we just gave up so much, especially our life expectancy. Put so much effort, sometimes to just exist and be visible. Sorry, I'm miserable. I wanted to meet you, Benko. I think of the conversation we would have had, how we could have found community in each other's lived experiences, good and bad. Sadly, I am now reading this to a candle, along with the countless others I missed. So that's why I say, hey, I'm Sol. They, he pronouns for me, because I have this yearning to be in a community who sees me. Give me just one rose while I'm still alive. The usage of my pronouns is all I want. Inclusion in siblinghood is all I need. I'm sorry if I get so emotional. This is hard for me. Sometimes I feel like a walking, talking vagina on legs. Every tiny movement betraying me. The past I'm trying so hard to move beyond haunts me. And I'm just a lad that wants to go home to myself. So excuse me while I break down and cry again. I know, you asked me to be patient, but my sadness, my grief, and the hurt that I experience when I'm seen as one of the ladies isn't a sign of impatience. If anything, I fully resigned. At 26, I'm already like, what's even the point sometimes? Every workplace has been the same. The energy that I've been putting in is depleting. So all I'm asking for is really for us to be one team and kicking cis sexism in the rear. And I know, I get it. You know that I'm related to a fuck ton of cis people, each and every single one of them begging me to have more patience, explaining the woes of cis people and remembering, asking me to comfort them, to tell them that no matter anything, I promise not to get mad and be more patient and be more forgiving. My mask gets tighter, feeling like I have to hide my pain to protect your feelings. I guess I don't know how to end this. I don't want you to shoulder unnecessary blame. I completely understand how difficult the process can be to rewire your brain and set your body free. Shit, even I was transphobic at one point, and now look at me. My life has just gotten better thanks to the endless work of my trans elders and ancestors, risking everything to lay the path out for me, more like we, because liberating ourselves from the constraints of a colonial gendering system helps us explore our inner being. Ladies, I love y'all so much, and I know y'all love me too. Let's be mutually patient with each other, and together we'll be free. Thank you. Um, and so this next one, I hope y'all are hanging in there. Um, let's see. I'll follow it up with this one that's a little bit lighter, I think. And this is still a work in progress, but it's titled I Love Myself. I love myself, I love myself, I love myself, I will love myself, I love myself. My intention is to cleanse my aura, center myself, choose to prioritize my well-being, love myself by caring for myself, letting myself be loved by my ancestors, my by my beautiful cat son, by the people that I love, by the people that have changed me and watched me change and yet still love me, by my plant allies, by my crystals, by myself, with the understanding that I am not an individual. I am like the corn, the sum of a millennia of culture nurture and wisdom on how to survive the end of the world. I learn the lessons my loved ones teach me. I listen and embody the knowledge I receive. I receive it with ease. I'm thankful of this blessing, and I am dedicated to nurturing these relationships and watching my life flourish. Yay. I think I have one that's still in the works, so I don't know if I should share it or not.
Let's only if you want to. It's okay. Like, it's okay. You can you share whatever you want. Do it.
Okay, okay. This is actually I wrote this um in a difficult like situation I was in where I experienced transphobia and on the bus or on the train. Um and so there was a moment where I wasn't sure if I was gonna like get off the train. Um and just to provide context, like I've been a person that's always struggled with like being here, with like suicidality and things. So it was very ironic for me to think about like come to terms with the thought that I was going to go out like this. So this poem is kind of reflective of that. So it's called The Last Stop. I'm here at the last stop. It's peaceful in a weird, anxious way. I mean, it was bound to happen. So I want to type this out just in case I get off sooner than expected. Trans bodies are sacred, I never regretted who I am. Please take care of my family if I'm gone. Although I don't plan to go down without a fight, because at the end, I wanted to be the one to leave, never wanted to get pushed out. So please place a white candle on your altar, because, like it or not, I was always free. That last one was improvised. Thank you. That's all I have for y'all tonight. Um, I wanted to end it on a more positive note, but that was my most recent thing, and I'm thankful to have the space to share. Thank you all again for listening to my notes app poems, and for just sharing space.
Oh, thank you so much, Soul, for being a part of One Mic, One Globe, a Pride Night. Thank you for making it. No, your poetry was really dope. It was vulnerable. I liked it a lot. It was very chill. It was very environmental, and I've been writing poetry about environment recently, like LA by the river and things like that. And I was like, oh, I'm getting inspired here. It was really dope. Thank you again for being a one part of One Mic, One Globe. How can we stay in contact with you? We follow you.
So I'll put my Instagram handle and my email. I'm working on turning that first river poem into a mini zine. So I'm illustrating it right now. So once that's out, I'd love to share.
Oh, yeah.
So if anyone wants to get a copy, I'll have those ready soon.
Hells yeah. Yes. I love when poets get creative. All right, everyone, that was Soul. And that concludes the features for One Mic, One Globe Pride Night. I see that we have two open micers. The first one to blush the mic is Mion. Mion, you there? Yes, Mion is there.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Let's see what time is it. You can share it up to 2 pieces. The
Okay.
mic is yours.
Okay. So yeah, like Val said, my name is Mion. I like to say that I'm not a poet, but I think my friends would swear that I am. This is a very new poem. I haven't shared it with anyone. So yeah, it's about queer love and kind of just bringing like God and spirituality into that. And the first poem's called 13. You started as a wish upon a star, as an out of reach feeling that I would never lay my heart on. But since the moment that I met you, you've been every 11/11 wish come true. You are a dream, love. Is this a dream? I pinched myself and you are still here, and we are holding this moment in the palms of our hands like paper crane wings, floating through clear skies on open air. You've got me so high, and I am fine defying gravity with you. You know, I once found a piece of you in a fortune cookie, lucky number 13, and I tucked it in my pocket for safekeeping. You know, I once saw you in the sun filtering through tree leaves, and I kissed its rays against my lips like warm honey. You know, you are the kind of girl I would have played into Does She Love Me, Does She Love Me Not on the playground, or plucking flower petals between my fingertips on the playground. You know, I once got on my knees and prayed in whispers for a piece of serenity, for a sense of safety, for a light when the sun forgets to shine. You know, I once got on my knees and prayed unknowingly for you. I am convinced that you were crafted in the palms of God, that you slipped from her grip and you fell from the heavens. You ask, why me? I see your wings and I am still wondering how. You skipped into my life by surprise. This is more than just good karma. You are a gift, and I hope that I deserve you. They say that nothing lasts forever, but whether you are here for months or for years, I will give eternities of gratitude for every second. You know, when you held me in your arms for the first time, brown skin melting into pools of gold, I listened to your heart skip beats while I felt mine speed up until they beat as the same drum. And I felt like I could breathe again. You know, I sometimes find myself carving out spaces for you in my future. I sometimes find myself hopeful that you've got room for me in yours. You started as a wish upon a star, and here we are now. You plant a kiss on the back of my hand, and I feel your pulse in my fingertips. Your energy flows vibrations through me. This must be real. So for confirmation, I reach out to touch your cheek. But you know, I still have to ask, is this a dream, love? Yeah, so that concludes my first poem, 13. And then the second one is called Your Love. To be loved by you is to return home, is to learn God again, to remember that the only reason I have lived long enough to know your name is thanks to her, all thanks to your God. To be loved by you is to feel God listening, is to know that even on my days of doubt, forgiveness was an answered prayer. To be loved by you is to know a sanctuary, is to say, I am coming home without having to spit its bitter taste from my mouth, is to never fear coming home again because I have felt it in your arms. I have found it in your arms. To be loved by you is to have a heart so full, I sometimes forget it was ever broken. Is to mosaic my heart a window to the world so they can too see what it's like to be loved by you. Is to know that God doesn't answer prayers directly. Is to know that God must answer prayers directly, that the angels must have listened and put in a good word for me. That's it. Thank you.
Oh, are you sure you're not a poet? Like, that was fire. It was absolutely beautiful. Gave me chills of like warmth and gratitude. Oh my God.
I appreciate
You
that.
was, I mean, if you're not a poet, you're creative as fuck. That was beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. How can we stay in contact with you? Can we stay in contact with you? Can we
Yeah,
follow
yeah,
you?
I'll put my Instagram down below.
Oh, beautiful. Everyone that was me on.
Mhm.
That was beautiful. The next to bless the mic. I feel so blessed. The next to bless the mic is Crystal Reyes, a dear friend, all the way from Texas. She just came out with a book. Um, Congratulations, by the way. If I had not said that to you already, congratulations. Um, Crystal, you can share two pieces.
Okay. Thank you, Boss. I'm actually in LA right now. So
Oh, you are?
yeah, I'm like, I hope this internet doesn't go off. I'm in the hotel right now. Yeah, I'm here for the Beach City Writers Conference. And I actually back from dinner with Erica and she said hi because you came up.
Hi.
Okay, in honor of Pride Month, I guess I'll start off with this one. This one is called Hush Hush. Te amo en secreto, where shadows lurch, obscurity lives, donde nadie reconoce, mostly in warm winters, underneath the chimney, uttering sweet nothings, cositas sin importancia, away from the judgments, caught up in the giddy frisson of a new romance, confined to you, la sociedad nos juzga. You are a sinful habit que no quiero echar a perder. Thank you. Okay, the next one is also in honor of Pride Month. This one is called I Am Pansexual. I considered you a fashion-forward icon, hiding underneath oversized t-shirts and thrift shop rocker-style boots. They, a term I was familiar with, but not so up close and personal. I go by they, them pronouns. I still feel them whispering their truth. It did not shock nor bother me. It did not lessen my feelings. it did shift our love lives. Thank you. I'll share all the deets in the chat.
What? That was a tease. I know your stuff. I was ready for it. Oh my God.
You know, that's all I give.
Oh.
There will be more in I'm working on my short story, my personal essay collection, which is my memoir, which is actually my thesis for my MFA. Another year or two. And so yeah.
Ooh, I'm so ready. I'm so excited. How can we stay in contact with you? How can we get our hands on this beautiful book you have?
I'm gonna put it in the chat box. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Crystal. Would anyone else like to share for open mic? I'll first you, only if you want to. No? 1, 2, 3. Okay. Well, everyone, that was One Mic, One Globe Pride Night. If no one else wants to share for open mic, I will go ahead and share and close us out. Okay, I put on these horns, 1, because they're rainbow, but 2, because I have a poem that kind of goes with it. So this poem is called I Was the Feral. And it's in Andrea Lee's new love anthology book coming out soon. I wrote a whole chapter for it, but this is one of the poems that came out. I was the feral, a raven with a pair of rainbow horns. Golden wings would sprout if I was happy, and they would flutter when cachinnating, sprinkling magic. I was the feral who laughed with the dead. I was the raven who danced, releasing the dread. The crow who challenged hawks in flocks or alone. A twisted fable praying silently and smothering hope. I was the feral who found love impossible to understand. Love had left me, or used me, or hurt me, or killed me, or the list goes on and on. At the end of the day, I started to become the feral who wanted to be left alone, yet also know to never be left alone. I was the feral, a white raven, hidden under the secret shadow, cloaking who I was. I am the feral who knows love is hope. I am the feral of truth, of light, and of love. Thank you. This next poem. So I have a friend, if you know them, Carl Scott. They suggested that I write a poem based on my laugh. If you know me in person, my laugh can be contagious, as I hear. But this poem is called Stages of Cachinnation. People have attempted to understand the layers of my laughter, getting lost at the hint of howling joy. They don't understand that my laughter is a sign of comfortability. Smile, holding in a giggle of pleasure, a slight grin of wonder, a subtle amp of curiosity. Glee is dancing in my chest. A red scarlet face ready to jump. A high-pitched crackling cry of a soul taking flight into emotional vibrations. Is the ripple of air convulsing through the sky. I can't breathe. Tears flowing down my face, holding memories ready to feed the world with the blanket of bliss. If we lock eyes, I'll invite you on a carefree adventure of roaring euphoria. I am happy. Thank you. Was not sure that was gonna come out the way I wanted it to. Now, when I write poetry, when I type it up, I try to expand it, right? What other parts of me, what other layers can I talk about? And I'm kind of known for writing darker poetry or just being really connected to vulnerability and emotions. But I just wanted to write more about love and what these different aspects of me are. This next poem I'm going to share. Where you at? There you are. Okay. So I love to do a thing called concrete poetry. Concrete poetry is when you shape a poem into the shape of an object. And so this poem is my tree poem. Actually, I want to do this when I do it. I'm going to share screen it so you can see what I'm talking about. Mm. Ah. Okay, I'm gonna do this. I remember when the waves tormented the growth of moonlight. The darkness was fear pulling me under like a riptide that knew no bounds. Clear waters had been trustworthy because I could at least see the toxicity taking shape. I saw and felt the growth in the darkness. I am living above the surface, healing mortal wounds. Fear thought it could immortalize the infection so I could succumb to a reality of fractured, impossible dreams. I am the closest I have ever been to life. By recognizing the truth within the vividity of lividity, I began to breathe dreams. I started saying I'm possible versus impossible, daring to dream big, expanding my branches. I am eternal. So you can look at this poem in 3 different ways. I'm a face if you stare into my eyes. So here would be the forehead, the nose, and the rest of the face, the cheeks and the mouth. I'm a lake breaking free of borders. This is the lake, and this is the river pouring out of the concrete and into the ocean to feed the world. Turn me upside down, and I am a tree. I can't really turn this upside down, but if you tilt your heads, you'll start to see the tree. The next concrete poem I'm gonna share this is a new one. And it took me a while to do, but it's really cool. Or at least I think it's really cool. Anyway, this poem starts at the bottom and rises just like you. Literally starts from the bottom. The moment I knew the question to what if was dragging me down was when I couldn't pull myself off the ground. What if had always been duplicate, impossible imposters telling me I wasn't good enough, telling me it'll never happen, gradually choking on the lies, clogging my windpipe to get by the terrified shadows manifested by feeling unworthy. I'm doing it. I can do it. I did it. I am soaring through into unknown heights of impossibilities. shape-shifting, transcending to the next level, leaving behind an outworn mold tucked under the falling leaves, splashing within the decadent clouds, knowing a sky I once thought impossible to reach. Singing with blue jays, casting ripples of light and love. I promised myself a lifetime where what if would no longer be an anchor rotting my roots. Instead, it would be a tree holding memories of hate and love, of losses and victory, of fear and hope. This flame is a reminder of what it's like to be human and what it's like to infinitely dream. And so if I zoom out of this piece, oh, it's a candle flame. Down here is the base, and it comes up right to a dancing flame. This took me a good 2 hours to do, but it was a lot of fun. Let's stop sharing. I love doing it. It's so much fun. Really, I love to expand creativity. This next one is titled Picasso, My Heart. Picasso, my heart, portrayed as a mosaic, shattered stained glass, echoing a beautiful symphony, vibrant, iridescent, decadent reds, protecting the rambunctiously rare, debonair dancer dressed in sapphire blues. Hearing your heart beating is like when you're flowing elegantly, ethereally, liberating the center of gravity. Allow navigation inward to consume, digest, and self-acknowledge trauma, a unique frequency, a syncretic mirrored identity. Hearing your heart beating is like when you're feeling the center of gravity. So with this piece, it's like there's for each of the, I feel like I'm about to confuse you if I if I don't show you what I mean. Because I have a habit of doing that. So this poem can be read in like one or two ways. So flowing, elegantly, ethereally liberating. And I just kind of did this. I break the rules when I do poetry. It's a lot of fun. But I like to do things differently. And there's nothing wrong with that. And I'm gonna share one last poem before I let you go. And as I read this poem, I'd like you all to close your eyes and think about three things. One, what are your deepest desires? Two, what are your deepest hopes? And three, what's your impossible dream? And when I say impossible dream, separate the word impossible and it creates I'm possible. Nothing is truly impossible if you dare to dream. So what are your impossible dreams? As I read this poem, please close your eyes. Allow love to be your light. Hold yourself gently, embracing who you are without inspection, without fear of external appearance. Fall in love with the internal character you are creating and exonerate your soul of synestopathy to feel the magnitude of your love. Don't chase a beacon. Become your own lighthouse. Be proud of all your layers. Silence the shadows and become a constellation. And this is my lighthouse poem. Thank you all for being a part of One Mic, One Globe. It has been a true honor to be your host of this evening. I hope you all have a beautiful night. Happy Pride if I haven't said that already. Just happy Pride. Um, I hope you all have a safe night. Be careful and be safe for the weekend to come. If any of you are LA based, I will be featuring in San Pedro on Saturday, the 29th at Collage Art and Cultural Center, I believe it's called, from 2 to 4. And then where can we access your poems? Oh, good question. So, oh, because I forgot to do this. I am a published author. This is my book Diagnosis. Um, it is 246 pages. He is thick, just like me. A little cheesy. I like a little cheesiness. Hacen quesito. Quesito con pan. But yes, you can find my book at Riot of Roses. Riot of Roses Publishing. Oh, stuff. So you can find my book in there. It's a publishing house for Riot of Roses. Check out that website. Riot of Roses, created by Brenda Vaca. There's a list of us that are in there. Or you can contact me directly if you want a book. What's it called? I'm selling a few things for it too. So if you get my book, it's $25. But if you get my book, I'm selling these mojo bags called Beacons of Hope. And if you don't know me, they have a little envelope with a message inside. There's a key. There's those 3 questions I asked. There's a little vial of it has rosemary, baby's breath, and lavender because we all need to have that moment to relax and just take a breath. What else is in that bag? Oh, and a black rose. And the little black rose can bend and whatnot. Can use that as a bookmark or whatever. And then there's a bookmark. And the bookmark, it's a quote from my books. And it'll create it in a little black wing and everything. Anywho, yeah, no, if you're interested, please let me know. This is my tag on the bottom. And I realized that I just sent that to Mion and not all of you. Technology sometimes it just kind of gets me sometimes. Okay, there it is. Underscore 94 underscore. That is me. If anyone would like to feature again for One Mic, One Globe at a later date, it is every last Thursday of the month from 7 to 9 p.m. It is on Zoom. So you can feature just from anywhere like Vasti. They were featuring at a mall. It is awesome. Sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do. But it was beautiful. It was so lovely, and I had a pleasure meeting you all. Let's keep in touch. Let's poet together. Oh, I'm also featuring for a zine that I was a part of, Beneath the Soil, Volume 3. I'm featuring with that on Sunday at 4 p.m. PT time. So just hit me up on Instagram and I'll send you the links and everything. Anywho. Thank you for bringing part 1 of Make One Globe. Jessica, do you have any announcements for LA Poet Society? No? Going once? Twice? Okay, cool. All right, everyone. I hope you all have a beautiful night. Bye. Enjoy the rest of your Pride month. Bye. Jessica. Right. Jessica, did you want to talk to me afterwards at all whatsoever? Sometimes you do. Just check in before I leave. Okay. Jessica was sent.